Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ongoing Mastery Presenting and Speaking, the podcast and the interview. And today we're talking with Kat Frey, who is going to be talking with us about a very interesting subject. Hi, Kat.
Hello, I am so excited to have this conversation with you today. Thank you so much for having me.
So, what are we talking about today, Kat? What is our
You
subject
know,
today?
I think that we should talk about pitch slapped because every time you and I are on the same visual recording together, it seems to come up. So, what do you say we talk about being pitch slapped?
Yes. So, for context for folks, uh, Kat and I are both part of a speaker visibility group called Innovation Women.
Yes.
And this comes up a lot. So, how would you define pitch slapped?
Yeah, so it's funny because pitch slap gets your attention, but then you're like, oh, wow, I feel like maybe I already know what this is. My definition of pitch slapped is when somebody tries to sell you without having any kind of rapport and doesn't let it go. So it takes all of the fun out of getting to buy and makes it feel all about the seller. So you walk away going, oh my God, that sucks. I feel like I just got slapped.
Yeah. And it happens on LinkedIn every single day. I
Girl,
I do
seriously.
I do not understand. I finally changed my LinkedIn DMs so that you have to know my email, except my email's in my
Mm,
profile. Like if you click on contact, it's right there. So all you have to do is the one extra click with your mouse. But all of a
yeah.
sudden these have dropped off because I was getting
hmm
6 of these a day.
Yeah, it is an interesting concept. And so, as much poking and joking that we do about this concept, there definitely is a time and a place to pitch up a type of product like this. But I think that it's not even unique to LinkedIn. I think that you can get pitch slapped from an in-person
Yeah.
concept. You can also get pitch slapped really on any social media platform that you choose to participate in. The problem with it is, how does it make you feel as the consumer? And if you have ever had it happen to you, do you have the wherewithal to go, oh God, pause? I don't happen to do that, do I? Do you have that kind of regulator? And are you asking yourself, do I do it? And how do I stop it?
So here is why I asked you on. Can you tell everybody your background and why it is this is a perfect conversation for you?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so I am the owner and founder of Oxygen Coaching Group. We are a group of coaches and business trainers, and we work with companies all over the country and a few overseas, working to get out of a glitch that they're happening to have in their company at that time. It can be a number of things. Sometimes it is the simple process of telling people about your organization or selling or something along those lines, recruiting, something like that. But we all have a ton of different things that happen in our companies that we need help getting out of. And everyone on my team at some point in their life has been an owner, has run a P&L, has hired and fired. So there aren't a whole lot of things that you can bring to us that we can't have an opinion on. So, pitch slapped happens to apply in a lot of different areas of your business, and we talk about it a lot.
So, what I adore, I mean, I adore many things about you. I adore your sense of humor. I adore your edge, all of the things. I adore the fact that you were like, oh, one of the easy things, like, the language in your sales. And I'm like, yeah, the thing that makes a lot of us break into sweat and want to die because you are so naturally good at that. And I will tell
Thank you.
everybody that just before recording this, I brought Kat on to be an interview, and she gave me 20 minutes of her thoughts about the rats that were running around in my head. So, totally awesome. So I find that for me, the ones that are really getting me are the ones that pretend like they know me in a very light way. And within 30 seconds, it's like, you don't know me. You've never researched me. You've never done anything. And I find that a lot more galling. Why do
Yeah.
people do that?
Yeah, that's a really great point. And I think that social media makes that easy to do. So, depending on how you run your social media profiles, what used to be considered a lion or a LinkedIn open networker connected with a significant amount of people, or if you've built your profiles on a social media platform to convey who you are so that you are open to prospects or open to employment opportunities, it's easy to send a quick note and describe yourself or want to connect with someone. The problem is that that first interaction becomes, oh, this is why you should do business with me, rather than, hey, this is, why I wanted to connect with you. And I think that it becomes that sleazy used car, like, oh my gosh, I told you I was going to pull up an example that I have on my LinkedIn here so that we could talk about it today. I had a woman connect with me. I checked the date, March 16th. So we've been, if I should say, I have been receiving her messages for 3 weeks now. She has completely gone unanswered, and she just keeps telling me more and more about the things that she does. At some
Three
point,
weeks?
3 weeks. And by the way, I'm allowing it to happen because I knew you and I were going to get to have this conversation.
Okay.
um, and here's what I will tell you. This woman, who probably thinks she's doing a good job, is what I call vomiting on my shoes. Now, when I say that in a sales
Okay.
class, everybody's always like, "Oh God, Kat, that's gross." But if I say that to you, it's a pretty vivid
Yeah.
thought when I say, "Oh God, please don't puke on someone's shoes." But that's literally what she's doing, of all the features and benefits of the service that she's trying to provide for me. If I said to you, "Hey, do you want me to come and vomit on your shoes?" You would probably say, "No, thank you. I kind
No,
of
thank
like
you.
my shoes." Right.
Yeah.
So rather than talking about the features and benefits at some ridiculous length, if you have the ability to A, build rapport, or B, meet someone at an emotional level, then at least you're attempting to build connection. There's two things about this that I think are really important for anyone listening in today. The first thing is, emotion is not deferrable. And I love explaining this to people because it seems odd, but it's really a very interesting concept. So if I stand next to you and I'm in love, you are not automatically in love because you are in direct proximity to me. I have to do something to make you be in love also. Now, we could be staring at a beautiful Harley or a brand new boat or a puppy or whatever that thing is, but you are not going to be in love simply because you are standing directly next to me. Same thing with fury, frustration, anger, annoyance. Emotion is not deferrable. You actually have to put someone there. So if you get into somebody's DMs, in fact, we have done it here at Oxygen, and I say to you, "Hey, nice to meet you. Thanks for connecting. Not sure if it even makes sense for us to have a conversation, but I happen to help people who are in a frustrated, sticky spot in their business. Please let me know if it makes sense for us to have a personal chat." That's not as off putting as some of these
Mm-hmm.
multiple messages since March 16th that I have
Yeah.
been receiving. That's all features and benefits. Here's the other part. We are all lacking community so greatly. Isolation is not anybody's friend, right?
No.
And so we want to connect with people. That's why these social networks exist. So we take these connections in, and the first thing, bam, oh, let me sell you.
Yeah.
"Hey, hi, nice to meet you. Social pleasantries. I like your hair too. Thanks for
Yep.
connecting." And that all goes out the window. Just because we're online doesn't mean that those two things have to go away.
I got invited to a social networking thing from somebody who's in our one of the related groups that were, all of our circles.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And then while we were in it, it was like, okay, and you're going to join the community. And the community is da 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 da. Here's the price. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, got it.
yeah.
And so there was a whole bunch of, we should all be together for community. And by the way, my stuff is X. You really want to be part of it. And I was like, okay, fine. I stepped out. I've gotten it 2 emails since then that have been like, oh, are you going to join? And I really want you. And it's like, no, that's not why I came. I came because it
Sure.
was a networking event.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
called a networking event. If I
Yeah.
had known it was like, I get that networking events have a sales pitch at the end, like, but at the end, not
Mhm.
during. Like, there should be
Yeah.
value at my showing up, you
Yes, for
know?
sure. And I think that what it probably was lacking was making you feel a part of a community. You know, when you join an oxygen community, our most of ours do have some kind of nominal fee. And I'm talking like nominal, as in a really bad gym membership fee. Just simply so that you remember that you signed up for this thing. And you know, we all choose to skip our gym membership sometimes too, so it's okay. But we do charge for ours. And what happens there is you usually feel a sense of community, so you want to come back, right?
Yeah,
That's the speaker cohort that we're a part of. We do our best. What we pay to be a part of that is nominal compared to what the value is that we're getting
exactly.
out of it. But it makes you accountable to, oh, by the way, I'm supposed to be there on Friday mornings, right? And it's, again, you're lacking that emotional connection to that place. Makes me feel good.
Yeah.
This product makes me want to engage with you. And we forget that we're all still human, even though there's social media involved.
Yeah. And we want connection. We want,
Hmm.
I'm thinking of last year. So as you know, I restarted my business, went into a completely new
Yes.
direction and jumped off
Yeah.
the cliff. I'm building the plane on the way down. And I met this
Smart.
wonder.
Best
Yeah.
bet. Yes, smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
I
Yeah.
mean, who
Yes.
needs a
We
parachute?
love it. That's right.
I met this woman and she was charming and wonderful and and she is a lovely person. She made me feel like that we were becoming good buddies and we had chats and she kept talking about this community and it was this networking thing. So now that the word networking, I get DTs now because I'm like, because I'm having reactions now because I got in and it was like, okay, great. And it was all pitch and it was a high
Mhm.
end membership. And I'm like, she worked for
She
three
sold
and a
me.
half weeks on
Yeah.
me to get me in that door of meeting with me and talking. And I felt like we were friends. And then we're in there. And at the end, she's like, so what do you think? And I'm like, that's great. It's not for me, but thank you. I haven't heard from her since.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
And I was like, oh, wow. So that was a interesting lead in. I feel like if I had known, like, if I had known that it was a paid, like it was a paid structure,
Yeah.
um, I would have felt less shock at it being like a networking event that is not actually networking
Yeah.
feels like the worst pitch slap there is. Because it's
Yeah.
like, well, wait, you said we were going to have coffee, you
You
know?
know, it's interesting when people struggle like this. Made a mention at the beginning of this that there are times where this pitch slapped concept it works for people, but if your model would not fly on QVC, if your model is not
Mm,
a you're comfortable with selling one to every 1,000 people or higher, then you can't do this. It won't work. And where you will find if it's working or not, which by the way, it's probably not working, would be in the metrics that we help you with on the backside.
yeah.
So, you know, I mentioned that my team did some prospecting on LinkedIn at one point, and with some measured success, not awesome, but with some measured success. We like to say we are our own best students. So if we're going to teach you how to do it, we want to make sure that we've been through the ebbs and flows of it as well. And the most important part of that process is understanding when I did it this way, it worked at this percentage or it didn't
Yeah.
work at this percentage. So if you think you've got this great crafty message and there's no emotion and you think that I'm full of hooey, all right, great. show me the metrics and tell me what your conversion rate is using that message. And by the way, are you getting messages with no response for 3 weeks and you still think that you don't look desperate, that you're still reaching out to me with no response? I think that this all kind of goes into how you choose to do business. So that's kind of
Yeah.
up to you.
Yeah. I'm learning that I definitely want to only be thinking in terms of relationship development, because the number of friend requests I get on Facebook that I'm like, okay, sure, I'm in a bunch of different groups, or I was until recently. I'm like, okay, friend. And then 2 days later, hi, hi. And then, and then what's going on? And I'm like, nothing. What's
Ain't
up?
nobody got time for
Oh,
that.
well, I'm doing da 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 da. And it's like, oh, a pitch.
Mm,
Okay, block. Or someone says hi, I don't respond. And then, are you there? And as soon as I see, are you there? Which I've seen like 15 times in the past month and a half, I'm like, that's
yeah,
creepy. I don't
it
know.
is
For me, I
creepy.
find that
You
creepy.
know, I think that you and I were having a quick conversation about cybersecurity before we jumped on here. There's also a need for you to prove your validity. And I think that if you don't have a nice message in terms of, our not being a bot, and actually being a real human, be that. And I think you have to, there's a fine line here. If you're going to present yourself online, do it well. And if you don't know how to do it well, then find someone who can help you do it well, because there's tons and tons of resources out there.
Yeah.
Don't get too carried away, don't get too many resources, but find someone who can help you. The other thing I think is real important to speak to, especially the younger generations that are coming into the workforce now, they're some of the most informed workers that we've ever seen. They have literally information at their fingertips. But what they will be forced to do is to collaborate with that information. We are the best combination of our experiences, our education, and our opinions.
Yeah.
You will only be able to get so much out of just simply information at your fingertips. You're going to have to collaborate. And so to build these networks is so extremely crucial. Don't damage your
Yeah.
network by pitching when maybe that person isn't your prospect, but they are a good referral source, or they are a good, I don't know, maybe you were their prospect and you just don't know it yet. I would really just encourage people that if this seems to be your model, or you aren't sure if you're doing it, man, it's called social networking for a reason, and a network's got a lot of legs.
So you have an example to show?
Well, I have an example. I have it pulled up on my other screen, unfortunately. But so let's see. We've got one message on the 15th. I've got actually two messages on the 15th, one on the 16th, one on the 18th, one on the 22nd, and one yesterday. So here's the last one, and I'll read it. I know it's more than I thought. I wasn't counting.
Dear
To
God.
keep it simple, you have three options. I didn't know I was even interested after all of those messages that went unanswered. Don't change my content. I mean, in case anybody was curious, I actually do teach how to do this. So don't change my content. Keep testing different content, or partner with her. Which option would I like to go with?
Kiss my ass isn't an option? I'm
I'll
sorry.
get you my
I would
logins.
go
You
for
can answer
D.
to her.
I would go for D.
Yeah, so I don't know anybody who would actually like to answer that. I feel like that was maybe my mother speaking to me, asking me what I was having for breakfast when I was a toddler, kicking my high chair.
Yeah, that's it. It manages to both be condescending and also desperate at the same time. Yeah. Um
I think that it's hard, right? It's hard.
it is hard. I mean, I get it's hard to pitch because that is not my gift. Like if I know a pitch queen, Her name is Precious
Yes.
Williams. She is the pitch queen.
Yes.
We know this. I know the pitch queen. That's not my gift. But if I wanted to pitch, I wouldn't hide it. And I think that's the thing that gets me about pitch slaps is they feel sneaky to me. They feel like it's a pitch that you shouldn't see coming because then you'll be surprised. And it's like, when has anybody been positively surprised by a sales pitch?
Well, here's the thing. This is Jeffrey Gitomer's line. So I probably just drastically aged myself, but if you know who Jeffrey Gitomer is, I've always liked him. People don't like to buy. They want to buy. They don't like to be sold.
Mhm.
And I think that when it comes to actually pitching yourself and a product that you sell, whether it's your product or just one that you represent, it has to be at least close to a fit. And one of the worst whiplashes you get from being pitch slapped is when somebody comes to you and says, "Oh, by the way, Kat, this sucks and we'll fix it. And by the way, that's what I do for a living."
Yeah.
Like that. And that's an extreme, but there's a
Mhm.
couple of them that are, to your point, wow, so did you even look at my profile? Do you know? My favorite is when I get a business coach that tells me that they're going to make my business better. Okay, thank you for that, right?
Thanks.
So just if pitching is something that you have some head trash about and you're not sure that you're good at pitching, the first thing I'm going to do is tell you to practice. We do this in front of people all the time. We do it in our classes. This speaking cohort that we have spoken about, we do it in front of each other because it takes so much practice and it's just something you have to get comfortable with. But practice, practice, practice. Practice with your dog. By the way, hype a dog up with a cookie and practice. They'll shake their tail at you no matter what. So practice, practice, practice. Second of all, I would tell you that don't make it rote. I think I have a lot of clients that tell me it has to be memorized and they don't like that feels gross. Well, it should feel gross. If it's memorized and you feel like you are standing there with your heels together and your knees softly, not buckled so you don't pass out and you're going to stand there and give it like it's, the 10 Commandments. Yeah, it probably sounds like the 10 Commandments. Don't do that. Be passionate about your product and pitch like that. Because that is where you are going to be confident and you are going to really convey the passion of what you've got going on. And those are the people that are easy to do business with. Those are the people that are easy to buy from, not when somebody is literally vomiting on your shoes. Oh my God, all the things, and your buyer checked out all that way back.
Yep. I love it. And actually, I'm just going to leave us on that note because that's cracking me right up. I love it. Yes. So do not vomit on people's shoes. That is our takeaway from today.
If you find me on some kind of social media and you promise not to pitch slap me, I will send you my gif of the little squirrel that is literally vomiting. I have it. People love it, but it's, it's content.
Please tell me
so
it's a cartoon squirrel?
It's a GIF. Yeah, it's a little
Okay,
GIF.
good.
Yes.
It's not like a
yes, good
you said
no,
GIF.
No.
Okay. I'm like, it's not a video of a real squirrel throwing up, is it? Okay, good.
I don't have that much time on my hands, girl. I do not have that much time.
All right. So how do people find you?
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I am on LinkedIn as long as you promise not to pitch slap me. And it's Kat Frey, Frey. So if you find that the right way. The absolute best place to find me though is on YouTube. There is tons and tons of free content there, videos, series, all of my lame humor. You can find it all there. So you can find us on YouTube at Oxygen EQ or Oxygen Coaching. Both handles work, and you can connect with us and we can always help you from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am so glad you came on.
Thank you for having me. This is the best time of my day. I appreciate you so much, girl.
That was so fun. And thank you all for listening and watching, and hop on the socials, give a comment, send us gifs of squirrels. We'd love that.
I love that.
And we'll see you next time. All right. Bye. And